You're listening to the Sugarcane Podcast, where you get all of crypto's tastiest tidbits. Here's your hosts, Sheldon Trotman and Rudy Dogum.
Sheldon, can you share with me what is Axelar?
So Axelar, back to our episode about bridging, is this ability to now move assets from one chain to another, right? So in the Sugarcane context, again, we basically create smart contract wallets across a bunch of different chains. So Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, Ethereum, Base, and BSC, right? So a number of different chains. And in our previous episodes, we talked about how blockchains are essentially like different worlds, like separate siloed worlds where assets are living. And so in order to move assets from one place to another, you need what's called a bridge. And in the context of Axelar, they are our bridge provider, our primary bridge provider.
Nice. So they're kind of like the middle man gateway between all these different chains and allowing the passes of different assets to go through each of them.
Yeah. So like, let's say you have Ethereum on Ethereum, the asset on Polygon, right? And let's say we allow you to lend that Ethereum out and get some return for that on Arbitrum, right? Because there's a protocol on Arbitrum that has a really good yield. In our context, what we actually do is take the Ethereum from the Polygon context, go through the Axelar contracts on Polygon. Axelar, which is kind of also like has an off-chain process, it transmits that message from Polygon over to contracts on Arbitrum and sends that message from their actual gateway contracts on the Arbitrum context into like the user's balance on Arbitrum. It's like they handle a lot of the cross-chain, what's called cross-chain messaging, and interoperability is another word that people use for that.
That's pretty advanced stuff. It's pretty. I'm thinking like, how would one user be able to go about that on their own?
Yeah, so it's a it's a pretty clunky process. Like, if you think of the current bridge providers, a pretty popular one people use is called Hop. So Hop Protocol. Another one's called Connext. Another one's called Across. So there's a number of different providers that allow you to do it. But I can assure you that anyone in the crypto space right now, if you ask them what they're most afraid of, is actually using bridges. Just because like when you actually move assets from one blockchain to another blockchain, it's always a worry because you don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know how much work is going to be involved. And in the period of waiting, you're kind of scared because you don't know what's going to happen. So there's no certainty. So like from our context, if we can actually make the waiting experience easier and also faster, then it makes the whole experience easier for the end consumer as well.
And was it easy building with Axelar?
It was, I wouldn't say easy. So it's easy kind of two contexts. Axelar has amazing docs.
Tough question for development.
So that means details a bit. So Axelar has amazing docs. Like out of all the providers that we've used a bunch of different providers in our product. Axelar has one of the best docs. It's like actually like understand and read how things work and how to actually use it. So from that context, it's pretty straightforward. From the ability to do cross-chain, what's called cross-chain messaging, it was also pretty straightforward because we actually have custom code that essentially wraps around Axelar's cross-chain messaging features. So easy from the perspective of understanding, yes. Technically implementing it, it's really complex. So we actually had to build a lot of custom stuff ourselves. It's been a great provider though because they really have nailed down how to do cross-chain messaging pretty seamlessly and safely.
Yeah, and I've always recognized our team always responding to any questions we had when working with them, and that's the other part of the battle. It's the community of helping each other out is what's so strong, and I think Axelar did a really good job with that too.
Yeah, it's been fun because like they also are one of the earlier ones that we first started talking to around like building what we were building, and they're very helpful, right? Like when it comes to like dealing with the docs or like any questions that we have. As you said, they've been really like responsive. So good team so far. Yeah.
You have to bridge we're so thankful for like having someone to help us bridge and not let us build a total custom solution for that. And that, again, saves us time, saves users money, and gives a better experience overall.
For sure. Yeah, because if you look at the most common like hacks, they were done by bridges. And so like with the ability to now have a provider who's really focused on just that experience and making that safe, makes it easier makes it easier for us to pass on that safety to our consumers as well. So they've been really good for that.
Thank you, Axelar, and thank you everyone for listening. Because if you have any questions or are developing with Axelar, we'd love to know. And
Yep.
Yeah, we're here to help. So stay tuned to the next product series.